it's such a huge community that it's so diverse, it's hard, but we'd like to think with places like the Culture Center, with the Chinese Homes for the Aged, that they become showcases that we can share with the other people in the city as well.
And there are a lot of other people with whom to share. Over the years, the community has become a virtual potpourri of different cultures and ethnicities.
If you walk along Chinatown, you will see Vietnamese shops, you see Korean restaurant, you see Japanese restaurant, and most of the fabric places are run by the Indian people. So it's like I would say a South Asian ethnic kind of place in Chinatown today.
But for the Chinese, now more than ever, Chinatown has taken on a very special meaning and purpose. That of helping them connect to their past.
There's something inherently unique about Chinatown that I think if it didn't exist, if I didn't have a place to go like Chinatown, you know, it would be very easy for me to forget or to feel very disconnected from the Chinese culture. Having grown up and hanging around in Chinatown and going to those different places and just being able to access that part of myself and my culture within this, you know, larger Canadian context is invaluable.
News 1130 brings you the latest breaking news, traffic and weather together on the ones. Airborne with Kim Steele and meteorologist Russ LeCate. Be the first to know with Vancouver's only all-news radio station, News 1130. And be the first to know online anytime. Just click on news1130.com for the latest news, traffic, weather, business, and sports. Vancouver's only all-news radio station, News 1130.
Where does depression hurt? Everywhere. Who does depression hurt? Everyone. You know you can feel it emotionally, but did you know you can also feel it physically? There are treatments that work on both the emotional and unpleasant physical symptoms of depression. Visit depressionhurts.ca to learn more about these symptoms, then talk to your doctor. Depression hurts, but you don't have to.
Are you tired of hiding your feet? Use Flexitol Heel Balm, the medically proven treatment for dry, cracked heels and feet. Visibly smoother skin in 3 days. Trust the Flexitol family of products. As a model, I can't be seen with embarrassing bumps on my bikini line. My secret is Bikini Zone. It makes my bumps quickly disappear. Bikini Zone for a bump-free zone. Make dirty hair look better fast with Batiste, the 1-minute miracle. Just spray it on and brush it out. Silky, clean hair in just 1 minute. Batiste, the dry shampoo that really works in a minute.
To be in that rumba, and the things go over there. Oh, over there!
What was this all about? The first wave of Chinese came to Toronto, not from Western Canada, but from south of the border.
In the record, the early group of the Chinese is laundry people. They moved up from America. It was not until 1890 to 1900 that more Chinese traveled by train from Vancouver to Toronto.
One of the original pioneers was a man by the name of Sam Ching. Sam ran a laundry on Adelaide Street more than 130 years ago, on the same spot where this high-rise office building now stands. And he just happens to be the very first Chinese person listed in the city's directory. A fact that left historian Valerie Ma wanting to know more.
I went to 1877 and I found a man, Sam Ching, and he lived on Adelaide Street in a building all by himself. So here he was all by himself, registered all by himself in this particular restaurant. A few years later, I see two names, Sam something or other. Now, in Chinese custom, the surname comes first. So, my theory is that this was a relative. It had to be a brother, an uncle, who was now operating another laundry further down the street. And so it worked out that in the early years, there were actually, of the 69 laundries, 30 of them were operated by Chinese.
And nearly 30 years after Sam's arrival, Toronto's first Chinatown came into being.
The first Chinatown started around the Union Station, and then bits and pieces through that downtown area, because it wasn't a visible community until it got more along Elizabeth Street. And when it got there, you have the goods and services that the people needed and would come down on the weekends to do their shopping. So it wasn't the same as what we see today.
The first Chinatown was published in the 1905. That means there's a more concentration of Chinese around Queen Street and Elizabeth, around the area. But later they expand toward to the north. And then by 1910, there was definitely a Chinatown.
It was the construction of Toronto's new City Hall that changed the face of the city and the location of Chinatown, pushing most of the shops and restaurants further west.
When the City Hall of Toronto were being built, then many of the buildings around Chinatown were either sold, bought by the city, or sold by, bought up by developer, and then a large part of Chinatown is completely destroyed and for the urban renewal. And that's in Toronto's situation. That's why all the business in Elizabeth Street, on Chestnut Street, those buildings were sold to developer, and then they have built high-rise buildings. And as a result, some of these associations start to move westward.
The Chinatown behind City Hall, as it now stands, if it had expanded, it could not go along Elizabeth Street or Dundas Street towards Eden Centre, because Eden Centre was to the east. It couldn't go north because of the hospitals, and then by going west, you come to University Avenue. So it kind of hop-skipped over University Avenue, went along Dundas, and then up and down Spadina. That would be what I would call the second Chinatown.
And that second Chinatown here at Dundas and Spadina keeps evolving, along with the Asian community. The shops, the restaurants here are increasingly multicultural and increasingly reflect the growing Vietnamese community.
When the Vietnam, the people came, and many are overseas Chinese, many of them cannot speak English, and they speak Chinese, then start along Spadina area and west, then there are a lot of Vietnamese shops start to grow around Spadina area.
When that particular space became too expensive, then it came to this area, which is what I consider the third Chinatown. The properties were less money than in the other areas.
That third Chinatown is here at Gerrard and Broadview. A recently built arch stands as a monument to its growing significance.
We're looking forward to it bringing people back into this community to make them very proud of what we've been able to accomplish. So it's going to be the focal point between this part of the Chinatown, the hospital across the street, the library, the public library here, and part of this little triangle will be the old Don Jail, which they preserved.
And on the wave of that development came many great restaurants and shops, and even further expansion.
Hong Kee is the first store built there, a barbecue shop, and from that some grocery, and now they start to expand along Gerrard Street toward the east, and then create a new Chinatown.
As more immigrants came to Toronto, you get the group that go up to what they called Scarberia, and they had a little more money to relocate the people that were being bought out in the second Chinatown. Now you have Chinatown in Mississauga, and then the north part of the city, we have Richmond Hill, Markham, and Unionville, where there are plazas which are totally Chinese. All the signage is Chinese as well.
It's like being in Hong Kong. You know what I mean? Like having gone to Hong Kong, years ago, and experiencing the sort of the way shops are set up and how boutique house little things are set up, and everything is all mishmashed together, and even the shape and structure of the mall. Like it's very much like being in Hong Kong, right? With all the billions of stalls and go places. And even the products, by and large, are shipped over from China.
It may have the look and the feel of Hong Kong, but the movement of Asian communities to suburbs like Scarborough brought much more than just shops and restaurants. It brought important cultural services too.
The mandate of the Chinese Cultural Center Youth Chapter is to promote Chinese and Canadian culture to youth within the GTA and anyone else that is interested as well. Also to promote the spirit of volunteerism and also leadership values amongst youth within the GTA.
I have the opportunity to do a lot of community service for the Chinese community, especially focusing on youth. So, for example, when we organize events for the resident workshops or the achievement awards, all of these things make me feel connected because I feel I'm actually contributing and doing something for the Chinese community.
And that connection goes two ways, allowing young Chinese Canadians not only to contribute today, but also to gain a better understanding of their yesterday, of their cultural roots.
Introducing the world's first 100% custom, invisible, digital, and fully programmable hearing aid. Loaded with today's most advanced hearing technologies, including our new sophisticated noise reduction system. This amazing new invisible hearing aid is custom made, allows you to talk comfortably on the phone, sounds natural.
The quality of sound is excellent, and yet they're, the size of a thumbtack.
To learn more, visit invisiblehearingaid.ca.
Hey, honey.
Hey.
Is that the oatmeal crisp?
Nah, sweetie, you won't like it.
Really?
No.
Why not?
It's a conversation killer. The combination of oat flakes, vanilla, and almonds, it's a mouthful. One spoonful, you won't be able to stop. And then, we may never speak again. Is that what you want? Just to never speak to me again?
A delicious blend of vanilla and almonds, but you won't like it.
This is what it's like getting an amazing discount on a hotel room with top secret hotels from Travelocity.ca. The stress-free and easy way to get up to 45% off great hotels throughout Canada and the US.
Your fingers are quite magical.
Which makes Travelocity.ca the best place to book discounted hotels. This is what it's like getting an amazing discount on a hotel room with top secret hotels from Travelocity.ca. The stress-free and easy way to get up to 45% off great hotels throughout Canada and the US. Which makes Travelocity.ca the best place to book discounted hotels. Purpose not included.
Sudden weakness or numbness.
Stroke.
Sudden vision problems.
Stroke.
Sudden severe and unusual headache.
Stroke.
Sudden dizziness or loss of balance.
Stroke.
Sudden trouble speaking.
Stroke.
If you experience one or more of these symptoms, even temporarily, call 911 immediately. By acting fast, you could save up to 2 million brain cells a minute. A message from the Heart and Stroke Foundation of BC and Yukon.
While Toronto's Chinatowns appear well entrenched, community leaders take nothing for granted. They are constantly working to preserve for future generations the culture and the heritage that Chinatown represents.
The key is the culture, which the precursors of Chinatown. That would include the language itself, the food, in particular food. There's no Chinese community without Chinese food culture, obviously. And it's not just the preserve the older-fashioned Chinese food, but the more modern, more diversified, more kind of different kind of provincial type of Chinese food. That would make it really colorful.
And throughout history, Nothing has brought people together like food. The tastes, the smells and textures. It awakens the taste